Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome everybody to the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. I'm Frankie Timmers and I'm the spiritual director here at the center. Very happy to see those of you in person because it's always a different vibe, right? But we know that we never know who's on the other end of the camera because it is a live stream today, but also lives forever on the internet. So we love that you're here via our live stream. And we are continuing with the theme for the year, A Grand Rising. And we're wrapping up the month of July, which had a very interesting theme, Perfectly Imperfect. So we're wrapping that up today. And what I want to talk about today is this thing called shame. Let's unpeel that a little bit and take a look what that's about and how it's part of our human experience. So then it must be for us and how we can work with that. So the whole idea is that it has roots and we have an experience of it and there's an opportunity to reframe it. So if you are here for the first time, we give you a free book, so pick something off the bookshelf. And if you're here for the first time online, please check out our website. It has all kinds of events on it. Those of you who are here, we have some new flyers because there's some new things happening. But as always, we started with our Namaste practice. Namaste is the Sanskrit word for the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. So there's a giving and a receiving. So put your hands together. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
And I invite you to close your eyes as we do our opening treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So in this very moment, as we withdraw our attention from the outer world and bring it to the inner worlds, we arrive at a place of mindfulness and heartfulness and centeredness, where we get to remember who we are as essential beings. And we get to remember this as we navigate our way through the human experience, for they are one. So today we remember the oneness of all that is. And we notice where we tend to separate, knowing that that's the portal to remembering our inherent wholeness. And so today we allow ourselves to be present to the inner experience, and we withhold any judgment or opinion, and we simply feel ourselves dwelling in this place of love, starting with self, then bringing it to others, expanding it into the world. And we trust that all of life truly is about our spiritual evolution, our awakening. And so I am so grateful that we get to do this together, that we get to do this through the wisdom of the Science of Mind teaching that's been around for over 100 years, and really is the culmination of all spiritual teachings and practices. So in the sweetness of this knowing, we allow ourselves to experience whatever is available for us to experience today as a way to connect with ourselves and with each other. And so all that's left then is awe and gratitude, being in this sweet place of wonder, wonderment, and remembering the sweetness of life. And so it is.
And so it is.
So, you and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay.
You know I can't say it without smiling. Because you all know I'm joking. I can't hide anything. How many of you heard that phrase, whether it was literally or energetically, growing up? All of us probably, of course. It happens to be part of the human experience. And we learn in this teaching that that is actually actually nothing against us, which is what we interpret it as, like, oh my gosh, something must be wrong with me. That is for our awakening, for us to mature and grow up and grow spiritually and realize that that is for our growth and for our evolution and for our awakening. It's part of the human experience. I have never met a person who doesn't experience shame. People might say, well, sociopaths and narcissists do. Well, maybe they don't, but that's the reason why they are that way, right? It's such a deep need to hide it. And so if you think about it, if any of us that were raised in the Judeo-Christian world, which is all of us, then that was the lesson from the beginning. Remember, Adam and Eve found themselves naked in the garden and they went, woo! That's where it started. Again, that is for their awakening. It's a realization that, oh my God, I forgot that I'm whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way I am. I forgot that I'm created in the image and likeness of the divine. In that moment of forgetfulness, what arrived? Shame arrived. So what if we can see it from that light in a different way, in a different light, and begin to realize that that is the voice of the inner bully that I kind of have been talking about this whole month. We started out saying we struggle with perfectionism, which is really about imperfectionism, beliefs in imperfection. And what if we embrace our imperfections and we realize that they're there to work for us? They're there to be healed. They could be our superpowers. And so there's this whole reframing that I'm going to talk about more later that's very simple, not easy, simple practice of reframing and really just looking at life a little bit differently. So in July, what we discovered is that the voice of imperfection, the imperfections that we judge inside of us, is the voice of the inner bully. And we all have one, to some degree or other. How many of you have ever said or thought, I should, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not smart enough, I'm not young enough, blah, 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 add on to it. So the whole idea is that we embrace all of that as a way of inner growth, of awakening, of working with the shadow, of understanding ourselves and life in a deeper, richer, more powerful way. Because there's only one thing happening. There's only one thing happening. Divine perfection, capital D, capital P, by means of you and I. That at the core of who we are, at the core of life, there is always and ever only divine perfection. At the center of our being, we come to know on the spiritual path that spirit is the divine perfection within us. And instead of feeling separate from that essential nature in and of us, we unify by means of our practices. And so in the unification process, we discover all kinds of things, right? In the Science of Mind magazine on Monday, it had this great quote by Parker Palmer, who's one of my favorites, where he says, only when the pain of our dividedness becomes more than we can bear, do most of us embark on an inner journey toward living divided no more. We know this. It's when we hit bottom with our addictions, or when we just can't take certain experiences anymore, or most people that come into this teaching, they are desperate. It's kind of sad to me that people don't come and say, I'm here to, life is so filled with joy, I'm here to experience even more. Most people come into the teaching because they've been searching, because they feel like something's missing. Let me repeat this quote. Only when the pain of our dividedness becomes more than we can bear do most of us embark on an inner journey toward living divided no more. So think about for a moment where you experience feeling divided, where the dividedness shows up for you. I'm not going to ask you to say it out loud. But I think we all have some kind of area of life, some kind of experience where maybe in the past, or maybe in the present, or maybe a lot in the past and just a little in the present, where we feel that sense of dividedness, that sense of separation from our inherent divinity, that separation from God. That's where we feel shame. That's how there's certain things that we hide from each other. Certain things that we hide from the world. Certain things that we might feel ashamed or embarrassed about. We all have something. And maybe some of us say, I'm letting it all hang out. I don't give a hoot. Here it is. Here I am. I know I've learned a lot of that over my lifetime. I mean, there was a time in my life where I would lie about certain things to people because I was so embarrassed to appear to be stupid. So I'd make things up about politics in the Netherlands. I would make things up about people I met and people I knew, or books I read, or movies I'd seen, just so that I would look good. Now I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. And I am sure that there's still some things in me where I feel like, ugh, I don't know if I want people to know that or see that, but I can't think of it because this teaching has set me free. This spiritual life has set me free. So think for a moment, again, I'm not going to ask you to say it out loud, is there something that you don't want people to know? Maybe in this room, maybe in the rooms of recovery, maybe in your family. Just kind of think about that. Maybe it's not something you don't want people to know about, but you feel ashamed and embarrassed. It could be very subtle. Just allow that to come into your sphere, into this sphere of love and healing and compassion. Because shame is at the core of our human nature. It will never completely go away as long as we are in this human experience. But it's the remembrance of our spirituality, of our true nature, that we come to heal it and that we begin to say, here I am, all of me is worthy of love. Now, I may say that it will always be part of our experience, but let me put that in quotation mark because I don't think that's necessarily true. Because we know in the human experience we tend to say always or nevers, but they don't exist in our spirit, in our spiritual life. But it is that shame that makes us create and cultivate a false self. A self that isn't real, capital R-E-A-L. It is shame that is at the source of all addictions. And you might say, well, I'm only addicted to caffeine, so it can't be shame. Well, if we begin to really look and look and look a little deeper, that's what we might bump into. It could be sugar, it could be alcohol, drugs, sex, shopping, hoarding, whatever it is, right? And so we begin to pay attention to that because it tells us it's okay to hide. It's okay to pretend. It's okay not to be authentic. It's okay not to fully be who we are. It's not okay to just show up as we are because there's a part of us that says, shame, shame, shame. And so we get to kind of say, what is that that part of me that I prefer not to have people know or not to show. My youngest sister, Monique, who committed suicide, at the moment I forgot how long ago that is, but it's over a decade, was a very social person, and she had not had anybody over for a few years. So the moment my family went into the house, they found unopened mail from 2 years back. They found that she had been hoarding, that her house was a mess, that she had been hiding certain things about her life. That is heartbreaking to me, that somebody has to live that way where they don't want people to know what's really happening. And I know that's happening in the world because we now are very aware that mental health is a really big issue, right? That is connected to that shame, that sense of separation from spirit. I truly believe that when we really look at all the problems of the world, that at its source, there is this idea of a disconnect from sacred, a disconnect from spirit, a disconnect from our own essential nature. And so that's why I believe spirituality is so important. But what is that saying that says we are as sick as our secrets? We're as sick as our secrets. That's true, right? And not to mention, from what I remember from when I used to hide a whole lot more, that it felt tormentful. I felt tormented on the inside. Anybody here ever felt tormented on the inside? Most of us, right? It feels so good. It makes me so happy. It's such a great way to live. So we need to think about that, right? If I'm so tormented on the inside, how am I living with that? How am I able to even get up in the morning, get dressed and go to work? How am I able to function? It's very difficult to function. It's not miraculous that so many people are exhausted and worn out, because not living in the oneness of all life is very difficult. It sucks the life out of us, not to mention the energy. And so I personally have been deeply committed, devoted, and dedicated to this teaching for over 40 years because I haven't found anything else that worked for me. I know there's many modalities out there, many ways to practice spiritual teachings, principles, different practices, and I'm good with all of that. But I have searched, I almost got sucked into Scientology. That's probably the pinnacle of how much I searched. But something in me said, no, I don't think so.
Good.
Right? And so this teaching for the last 40 years truly has fed me and transformed me in ways that I can't imagine anything else. Because what I love about it is that it talks about the simple remembrance that we are divine expressions of the One, and that healing is remembering our inherent wholeness. It's not curing, it's not fixing, it's not even changing. It's a remembrance, and that then shows up in our bodies, in our minds, in our lives, in the world, in our heart, in our relationships with money, and etc., etc. And the biggest difference when it comes to our teaching that I keep saying is that we are not about charity. And sometimes people want that. And I say, go for it. There's some fabulous organizations right here in our county that people can serve every day if they want to. Because we are a teaching. We teach you how to fish. We don't give you the fish. That means that you have to do your inner work. And I know you all are, because I see it show up in your lives. I hear it in your voice. And I hear it when we share with each other and talk to each other. So reframe reframe shame then is saying, oh, when I feel shame, I'm so connected to my flaws and my imperfections, and I'm judging them on top of that instead of embracing them as a way to grow and heal, and I have forgotten my divine nature. I'm just in a moment of forgetting that I am pure spirit, that I am God in form, that I am love in action, that I am blessed beyond measure, that I have a mind that is powerful and elastic and flexible, and that I can shift in any perception that causes me torment. And so, because we have a tendency in our human nature to experience shame, we begin to see that as our false self. Not in a bad way, because we tend to label that as bad, but as not our real self, capital R-E-A-L. And then we connect more deeply with our real self, and as we connect more deeply with our real self, we heal. We remember our wholeness. We begin to trust that there's a divine activity happening in and around me, and as I surrender to it and trust it, I take a different step in life. I make different decisions. I see myself and others in a different light, in a different way. And that blesses me and allows me to be a blessing in the world. And so we experience that sense of oneness, that sense of unification by means of our spiritual practices. That's why we meditate. That's why we do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. That's why we read and study and take classes and workshops and watch YouTube and listen to different speakers and do different workshops so that we can feel the oneness of all life. Because you already know that when you do something like that, you get up and walk away and you feel different. Maybe on a Sunday when you leave here, you feel different. For some of you, it lasts 2 minutes until you're in traffic or check your bank account or get a phone call from somebody who bothers you, right? For some of you, it lasts a day or two. For some of you, it lasts a whole week. And then you arrive at that place where you don't need the outer anymore because the inner is so full and so rich that it fills and fuels you all the time. You remember more quickly and the forgetfulness lasts not as long. So that's why we do our spiritual practices. I think of that as communion. How many of you were raised Catholic? And Holy Communion meant, or I received Holy Communion. We know in our teaching that Holy Communion is happening all the time. Through you, by you, as you, in you. It's your spiritual practices. It's having a Holy Communion with your essential self, with yourself, with each other. I mean, I shared this before, but I love it when Reverend Nicolette says that these people are like the happiest group of people I've met anywhere. It's because you're practicing, you're remembering, you have a willingness, you have communion together, you do this together, you come together. It's a beautiful thing. Because you are perfect, whole, and complete now, not when you're more perfect. You are pure love. Every breath is a breath of love, unless you believe differently. And even your flaws are glorious. Celebrate them. The moment you express your imperfections or speak them, it's like a weight falls off of you and a freedom is experienced. That's available right now. Not some tomorrow, right now. To remember that is a gift and a blessing. So I'm going to do a chant right now. Now I'm not going to do a chant. I won't create that kind of torment. I'm going to play a song, and you're all invited to sing along. If you like, at the top of your lungs. If you say, I can't sing or I sing terribly, let that one go today. You don't need that one anymore. And then I'm going to take us through a practice of healing some shame. So this song is called I Am Remembering by Melissa Felipe. So I invite you to close your eyes. take a breath into that place of remembrance. Just letting go of all that forgetfulness, even if it is for just a moment. Even if it is just for now. And with your eyes closed, just hear these words as if they're being whispered in your heart by your true and higher self. I am lovable. I am loved. I am loving. I always have been, always will be, am right now, whole, perfect, and complete as I am. There's really nothing to fix, change, heal. For in this place of wholeness, which is the root of the word heal, in this place of inherent wholeness, I am infinitely blessed, cherished, and welcome as I am. So now maybe remember the places where you have felt shame or feel shame now, today. Just quietly, without judgment, name them in the quiet of your mind. And imagine to be completely free of them. To be completely free of any feeling of shame. Imagine that you are giving it away. Maybe to those who, quote unquote, caused it, trigger it. Maybe to the earth, the soil, the sky, the trees. But imagine giving it all away, for you no longer need it. And maybe notice where you don't fully yet believe it, that it's possible. That's a shame. But if you don't believe it, begin to trust that others believe it for you. Whether it's me or a practitioner or a therapist or a beloved or a pet or someone, something, somewhere can believe it for you. And just set an intention to let it all go. And to keep letting it go, because it will probably show up again. It's part of our human experience. But to set an intention to let it go and to keep letting it go in this environment of pure love and compassion already within you. Letting yourself welcome this freedom.
Everywhere, messages we see. How to think, how to act, how to live and be. They tell us that we're ugly. They tell us that we're fat. They tell us we'll feel so much better if we just buy that. But here's a little secret, here's a little clue. Messages we see. How to think, how to act, how to live and be. They tell us that we're ugly. They tell us that we're fat. They tell us we'll feel so much better if we just buy that. But here's a little secret, here's a little clue. Those messages you see and hear have nothing to do with you. You are God's creation. You're beautiful and free. So open your ears, open your mind and repeat after me. I am incredible. I am powerful. I am a miracle. I am divine. Incredible. Powerful. A miracle. Incredible, powerful, a miracle, divine.
Incredible, powerful, a miracle divine.
Perhaps you think it's crazy, perhaps you think it's lame to call yourself a miracle. Well, isn't that just fame? But God is a serious genius. God makes no mistakes. Everything about you is divinely made. Your eyes, your face, your arms, your legs, you're a work of art. And if you don't believe me, ask your heart. Turn within, you will see it's radiant and strong. The power that created you has been there all along. Say it. I am incredible. I am powerful. I am a miracle. I am divine. Incredible, powerful, a miracle.
it's Melly and Z, her partner. It's a fun song, isn't it? All right, so we have a few things happening here at the center. It's almost August. On August 10th, there's the second New Thought gathering that's happening at Unity in Lafayette. We need you to get your registration, your tickets, because there's a lot of planning involved and much of it is around food. So get your tickets. On August 7th, I'm starting a book discussion exploration called The Spirituality of Aging. We're using the book by Kathleen Dowling Singh. And I love that people are signing up from all over the country already, which is so fun because they're like, it's like a nice mix. We're doing it on Zoom. It's Wednesday night, 6:30 to 8. It's 6 weeks. And you want to start reading the book through page 73 and send me 2 pictures if you're participating. One, a current one, and the other one when you were younger. You get to pick when that is. Then on August 18th, we have the beautiful Susan Neat with us doing she's the assisting practitioner, and she's teaching a workshop. Susan is a wonderful teacher. I know some of you took her class. She's teaching a workshop that's called I Love My Body, which nobody here needs, so nobody might show up. But it's at 12:30 to 1:45, so you want to register for that as well on Breeze. If ever anybody has a challenge with Breeze, just let me know, I'll help you. And we have 2 new things in September. Reverend Janice is facilitating a community meeting. Those of you that have been saying, so what's going to happen when Frankie leaves and re-inspires? Because most of you know now I don't use the word retirement. I'm not tired, and I don't need new tires. So I'm calling it Re-Inspire, which will happen March 2nd with a party on March 7th. Hi, Fly, how did you get in here? But on Sunday, September 8th, you all want to be here, because it's really about the big changes that are taking place, how you are experiencing that, how you'd like to be a part of the change and the future. So there's a flyer over there, and it will be in our constant contact. And then Kat is doing another sound healing, sound bath, yes, September 22nd from 1 to 2:15. You definitely want to sign up for that, because we're going to be laying on the floor and there's only spots for like 17 people. Next week, Val and John are facilitating our social hour. Today it's Fernando, and I guess Kat's helping as well. So we have a social hour today, which is always fun. But I just found out that Val and John are married 50 years next Sunday. Wow. And so they want to give back. So if anybody wants to facilitate social hour in August, I'm passing this around. If you want to do it with somebody else, because it's more fun, please sign up for that. And for those of you that are interested, there's a wonderful thing happening that started today from July 28th through November 4th. It's 100 days of mindful practice around the elections. It's not an either or. It's about a spiritual practice and lending your consciousness of love, faith, trust, and joy to the process. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. You're going to get daily messages. Today's was from Michael Beckwith. It was really fun. They're only 2 minutes. There's weekly Zoom check-ins. There's an intentional community building, and it's based on the proven somatic healing practices. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, here's the flyer. It's over there as well, and it's in our weekly constant contact. All right. So now is an opportunity for us to support this spiritual community. I know that some of you might not be able to give financially, so there's many other ways that you can. But if you do want to support the center financially, the basket will go around. You can also use Venmo, PayPal, do it weekly, monthly, annually. Everybody's different. We invite you to just give from your heart. Here is a really powerful practice to let go of shame, right? Because sometimes we might feel ashamed that we can't give more, or that we don't give, or all that stuff. Let it go. This is about love and gratitude and blessedness, and to give with joy and with love. So we'll pass this around. Let's do an affirmation together. I'm going to make this one up. All right. In this very moment, I embrace the divine reality of abundance. And I let go of any idea of lack. And as I do, I am set free. Knowing that as I give, I receive. And so it is. Okay. Let's do a closing healing treatment, and then you're all invited to be part of our social hour. So in this very moment, as I smell fresh brewing coffee, I remember the scent of the divine. It's the scent of pure love. That is part of my body, my mind, my heart, my soul. And when I say I speak from and to the higher self, which is the I am in each and every one of us. And so today, now that I have released any of those remnants of a sense of separation from God, I fall into this place of feeling loved, feeling loving, and feeling lovable. And I fall into this place of knowing that I have everything I need to open my mind and my heart to the absolute wholeness of my essential nature. I know that this is why I've been given this life. I know this takes a human lifetime, but just one human lifetime in the infinite life that is eternal blesses me to practice my way of remembrance. And so I infuse my day with spiritual practices, and I trust that every spiritual practice is like a droplet of gold into my heart, which then is polished with love and joy and peace and harmony, and it is reflecting into the world, but it's also the world reflecting back to me my own awakening, my own awareness, and the purity of love that I always have been, always will be, and am right now. If there's anything in the way, I suspend judgment and I use it as a mirror to infuse my mind and heart with more love and more compassion than it can hold. Trusting this and trusting the law to respond to this word, I release this prayer, knowing that it's already done in the mind of the universe, and because my mind is active in the mind of the universe, it's done in my mind, therefore my body, my heart, and my life. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.